It's rare that I watch a basketball game and it leaves me speechless. I have no idea what just happened in that game. The Indiana Pacers had the momentum, had the crowd, had the performances, had everything for 3 quarters, and they lost. I'm just like at a loss mostly because I don't know what's gonna happen for the rest of the series. For all we know, the Pacers could still win. But for 3-1 to be that much in reach and not to be able to grab it against this OKC team, man, man, oh man. OKC, by the numbers, had no business winning this game. OKC just hit 3 3-pointers in an NBA Finals game and won. Right before I loaded up, found out that the last team to do that was the Boston Celtics in '08, almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I'm rounding up a little bit. Almost 20 years ago. They had 11 assists as a team. They had 8 assists going into the fourth, and they won the fourth quarter 31-17. So they had they finished with 3 assists in the fourth quarter where they pull off a huge comeback. The Pacers all postseason long has been the comeback kids. It's what they've done, and they've been amazing at it. And for once, it was the other way around. This game was so much in the Pacers' favor going into the fourth quarter that about halftime, I tweeted out, is SGA sick? Not only did he have like 11 points on 11 shots with zero free throws, he finished the goddamn game with 0 assists, by the way, with free throws, 0 assists. I wasn't even looking at the box score. I was looking at the mannerisms. I was looking at the way he was playing the game of basketball. He was pretty passive. There was a few times he got off the ball to dub and waved his hand to say like, no, this is your time to shine. That's just not normal. A few turnovers by OKC that led to some breakaways, and Shea was the last dude down court. So in my mind, this is his flu game. Little did we know, they mentioned on the broadcast a gazillion times talking about them trying to change up his pattern so he's not as tired down the stretch. Damn, did that work. But I genuinely was watching Shea, and again, as somebody who's watched a ton of Shea over the last however many years, this was another uncharacteristic performance 3 quarters into this game. And again, I can't give enough credit to like Nembhard's defense on him all series long has been incredible. But then we get to the fourth quarter, and I praise the Indiana Pacers for one thing that they have done differently than so many other teams across basketball when it comes down to clutch games. You know, they were so far in this postseason, they have been the clutch team. I think they were 9-1 going into today's game. They have been the clutch team, and one of the reasons for that is they got some pretty good closers and they generate good looks usually. I thought in this game, they look like all the other 29 teams when it comes to close games. OKC did something different in the last couple minutes. This game was so peculiar to me, and I didn't know what to do. Did I rewind? I'm like, I got to rewatch these last 5 minutes in real. Like, I got to go back. And OKC decided to pretty much switch everything. And that just changed the brain chemistry of what the Pacers normally do. A team that's normally swing, pass, dribble penetration, pass, one more to open shots, resulted to ISO ball. Halliburton gets to switch on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We're going to cook him step back 3. Nope, Shai gets a block. Halliburton gets to switch on to Chet Holmgren. And Chet Holmgren, I got to give you your respect after these 2 possessions. But like calls Tyrese Halliburton to like pretty much airball 2 threes. Now, there was a time where Hallie got the switch onto Shai and it led to an open layup. But for the most part, it seemed like OKC saw these switches and was like, we got to take advantage here. But it hasn't been the way they've played basketball all series long. So it was just different to see them look like every other team, but that just hasn't been their identity. All of my notes, I'm preparing to talk about this great defensive performance from the Indiana Pacers. In my notes last year, I was ready. Last year, the Indiana Pacers, according to Cleaning the Glass, were the 24th ranked defense. This team didn't go out there and go get a Rudy Gobert or go out there and go get nobody elite to back. This is the same roster from last year. They just turned it on. Even early into the season, they weren't a great defensive team, and then Nesmith and Nembhard came back from their injuries, and then they were a good defensive team. So I was completely prepared to come in here and talk about how they locked up Shai again. Then the fourth quarter comes around, and the OKC Thunder offense, I pretty much hated 44 minutes of the offense that they gave us today. It's just, I mean, if you end the game with 11 assists, I can't call it a beautiful basketball game. I don't care. I don't care the results. I can't call it a beautiful basketball game. But in the last couple minutes, they decide to do something a little bit different. All series long, and I guess the entirety of this Pacers run, opposing teams have tried their very best to attack Halliburton. He's the worst defensive player on the court for the Indiana Pacers. Nembhard, Nesmith have been phenomenal defensively. Pascal Siakam gave you a masterclass, at least for the first couple quarters, and then touched the ball down the stretch. Miles Turner, good defender as well. So, we're going to attack Halliburton. He's the weakest link. But in the last 3 minutes, when we saw Shea turn into he scored 14 points in the last 3 to 4 minutes of this game, which is, again, I know people are going to talk about some other stuff revolving around this game, but, for what it was worth, ridiculous shot making. Some of the best shot making you'll ever see, but I know the conversation is going to be different. In his last couple minutes of this game, instead of trying to go get Halliburton, they went out for Nesmith. And because Nesmith and Nembhard are such good defenders in their own right, different ways, right? Nesmith is a bigger defender, willing to get a little bit more contact. Nembhard will wind you down by guard you 94 feet. And again, on Shea, he's been amazing so far. But because they're such good defenders, Pacers we just switched those. Nesmith can hold his own. He couldn't. The difference between Nesmith and Nembhard, I mean, there's a lot of differences. These are different players. And again, they're both great defensive players. But the one thing that is the differentiate as far as a guarding a Shea thing is Nesmith tends to be a little bit more out of control defensively than than Nembhard. A little bit less disciplined on that side of the ball. And that's part of his superpower, right? Nobody fights over screens or through screens better than Nesmith. You need a level of I don't give a fuck defensively in order to fight that well over screens. But that mindset doesn't work against a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So Shea get him into the elbow / free throw line area, and the shot making, the decision making in that aspect as far as recognizing where Nesmith is beat and taking advantage of that was supreme. The baseline jump shot, supreme shot making. Their feet's tangled up, both of them fall. Maybe get a little bit of arm from Shea. That ain't nothing out of the ordinary though. The shot making there insane. Shea hit 1 3-pointer today. Okay, the team only hit 3, so yeah, he hit 1. And the 1 3-pointer that he hit is just such a big 3. He ended with 35, 3, and 3 steals, 0 assists. A 0 assist 35-point game is going to be crazy throughout history. And he looked bad for 3 quarters. And then he comes in and has an MVP moment. And again, I don't know what happens for the rest of the series. I don't know what happens for the rest of the series. But I can't help but to think that if OKC goes on to win this series, you're going to look back on game 4 and be like, damn. I thought that when OKC went on their little run, maybe I got to go back and rewatch it, but there was a time there where Halliburton was on the bench just a little bit longer than I probably would have done it. Maybe. I'm not Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle is a gazillion times more smart than I am when it comes to basketball. He's done the right thing 99% of the time. So who am I to talk about that one miss rotation? But for Obi Toppin to give you that 17, and it was a loud 17, it was an emphatic 17. It sucks to lose this game, man. It really does. On OKC side, I got a text message from my boy Mike. Let me read you what this text message said. This is during the game. Mike sends a text message that says, where is it at? Hey, y'all dudes, I'll say dudes, ain't get a first round pick for that man. You know what I had to say to him? Shut up. I should have hit him with the so. The so is better than shut up. He said he worked at least 2. Derek said he planned out of his mind. And then, when people hit you low and hit you with a spot that you very self-conscious about, something that you think about all the time, you got to hit them lower. So what I say to Mike, didn't y'all trade Zubac for Mike Muscala? Got him. You know what I'm saying? Got him. But Alex Caruso was incredible today. Talk about keeping the team afloat out of nowhere. I mean, just this whole series, he's been pretty good. But 20 points, 5 steals, a block. He got a couple and ones in this one. Dub, I guess I could give. He ended with 27. Some of the shots that Dub ended up taking I know he's a mid-range guy. I mean, that's the identity of these their top two dudes. They get to the mid-range, they create from that spot. But I just think that they have and he specifically has so many more opportunities to take 3-pointers, and he opts not to. You think about the game against was that the Denver Nuggets game 7? Whichever game it was, there was a game where he just went bananas from 3, and it was just all catch and shoot open opportunities. It's like some of those shots are still there against his Spacer team, and for whatever reason, bro just don't want to do it. He rather get downhill, which I mean, getting downhill has worked at least a little bit for him. He'd rather get downhill and stop and turn around and take the midi. I was surprised to see as much Wiggins that I did. Wiggins had a really bad stretch in the first half, and I was like, in my notes, I wrote no more Wiggs, and he checked into the third quarter. I was like, oh, what the hell is this about? Only thing I can say is like I wanted them to get more Pascal Siakam touches down the stretch. He was great today. I thought that he did an amazing job getting switches. He got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on one of the first possessions of the game. He got Kayson Wallace a few times. He got Caruso when he had that opportunity to do that. They were good. The difference is like there was a time where Obi Toppin had the small defender on him. He's trying to get a post touch. Obi Toppin don't have the same level of give me that ball as Pascal Siakam, so they tried to throw it in to Obi Toppin and end up being a turnover. Like, no. How about we just keep those post touches to Pascal Siakam, please? Please, please, please. Yeah, man, some of these notes is like 5:20 in the first quarter. 7 seconds left on the shot clock before Indiana. Oh, no, this is the defense about OKC. Before Indiana even came close to the three-point line, that ended in a turnover. So it's like some of the small things. This is a game of small margins. And the Pacers feel like they won majority of them. They won 96% of them we put into... Man, 11 3-pointers to 3. Let me do some mathematics there. That is 21 point difference, 24-point difference in 3-pointers made, and you walk out of there with a win. A lot of conversation is going to be about the officiating trust. I hated the officiating tonight too. I made a tweet that's like, I can't wait to see the 30-minute highlight reel of Scott Foster today because goddamn did we see him a lot. I mean, there's a lot of free throws in general in this game. 33 from the Pacers, 38 from the Thunder. I don't think it was a well-officiated game. I'm not normally a guy that talks about officiating, but I didn't think it was a well-officiated game either way. It was a great game for what it was worth, but because of the officiating, it dumps a A- game to maybe, or A game to like an A- game because I thought it was pretty atrocious. And I think part of the problem is they changed the level of physicality that you're allowed to play on the game-to-game basis. So sometimes that play right there is a foul, but other times it's not. So me as a player, do I play it as if it's a foul or should I continue to be aggressive here? And it just became too much. We should not be hearing Scott Foster's voice 4 times in a basketball game. Personally, that's my opinion. We get until Monday. We got the whole weekend with no NBA hoops, so that's kind of trash. I thought that the timing and schedule of it probably impacted Shai at least a little bit. And again, Shai scored so much in the fourth quarter that it doesn't matter. But like this was the first time where we had a game just one day break in between. We had been getting the 2-game breaks between game 1, game 2, and game 2 and game 3. But 3 and 4 only gave us 1 day. And now they get another 2-day. They go back to Oklahoma City. And yeah, they just took – it's a tie series, but because of home court advantage, they just took control of the series. And we'll see how the Pacers react. What a series this has been, though. Great series.